You're listening to the World's Team Podcast. It's not just America's team, Cowboys Nation. It's the world's team. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
How about them Cowboys?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the World's Team Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Network and sponsored by Cowboys Experience for the ultimate stadium tours, tailgating, game tickets, all the above. Be sure to go to www.cowboysexperience.com and use the discount code WorldsTeam2025. Like I said, we are changing the discount code. We will get that sorted. But before we do start, I do have to owe apology to our audience because I made a boo-boo in our last episode by referencing Devin Lloyd as a Super Bowl champion, so who plays for Jacksonville, not Tampa Bay. So I got that completely mixed up. Yeah, so
different Devin.
Completely different altogether. So I just want to put that on record. I apologize. I will do better. But we are here to cover what we given our reactions to the press conference and talk about possible scenarios given the news of one Mr. Logan Wilson being released by the Cowboys. But I am joined here as always by my brother in arms, Mr. Mike Poland. How are we doing, brother?
Yes, good. Apart from the rain can go and do one. I'm ready for summer to kick in.
Oh, yes. Well, I can't wait for summer for many, many reasons because I'm not for Cowboys football, but I'm going for international football because I'll be going there for the World Cup. So I'm very excited for that. But yes, I totally agree with you, my brother. I want the summer to be here so much because it's absolutely dreadful over here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just not the nicest part of the year, is it?
No, the wet season officially.
Well, think about it, Mike. Your wet season, NFL season is over. We're basically kind of high and dry what to kind of talk about. Well, we've got plenty to talk about today, but you get the point. It's like, it's very hard to get really excited about football at this point, especially when it comes to contracts and whatever and that. But we do have the Combine coming up, which we will talk about briefly at the end of the show. But as we're here to talk about, Christian Parker had his press conference along with Brian Schottenheimer. A lot of questions kind of been thrown about during this press conference, and I found it very intriguing, quite refreshing. And the biggest thing I noticed, mate, and it's pretty obvious, that Jerry and Steven were not there.
Yeah, sorry, just hit my microphone. But yeah, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the undertone with this hiring that it's definitely a Brian Schottenheimer.
Yes, 100%.
And I think that's going to go a long way. Definitely emphasis on the secondary, but going off Parker's comments, he's all about the trenches. He said, look, the game is won up front. And the Cowboys last season, one of the reasons why I'm not a big White Cotton fan, was the trenches. The interior, once we made the trade with Quinn Williams, looked a bit better. Overall, the defensive line really struggled last year. Very little pressure, very little sacks. Kind of like that Micah Parsons void was never filled.
I don't think we can actually just put this all towards because Micah Parsons left. Like, as a whole collective unit, we failed. There's
a number of factors. Yeah, I'm just saying that there was we had a big Micah Parsons void, and there was no real answer on how they were trying to fill that void. I'm not saying he was the determining factor. I'm just saying that there was one there.
The matter of fact is, though, me personally, it's like we shouldn't have to rely on one player. We shouldn't. We should actually have other players of creating pressures and creating sacks and creating plays and turnovers. Like, we did have that at the tail end of the season with Jadeveon Clowney, who I do think we should re-sign. Yes, by far, we should definitely re-sign Jadeveon Clowney. That is probably the easiest decision. Like, regardless of how old he is, etc., he is in the end, like, he's coming to the end of his career at some point, but he still brings a lot to the table. And bear in mind, we brought him halfway through the season last year, and he was, without a doubt, our most productive defensive end by a long shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was like a rolling snowball that once he started to get momentum, as you seen towards the end of the season, it was getting better and better and better. The wheels really started turning. And you've seen guys like Donovan Izaraku, guys like that kind of starting to follow suit, because obviously what we're talking about is Clowney being the driving force that helped move the rest of the guys along.
Yeah. And not to mention as well, like, we talked about, like, we missed out on Micah Parsons. We also missed out on DeMarcus Lawrence, who obviously moved on. So there was two voids essentially in our defensive line this year, because DeMarcus Lawrence was basically our strong defensive end to help prevent the run game. And that was pretty existent especially on the edge positions. Interior we completely fixed, which was great.
Yes.
We definitely resolved that, and we are going to talk about one particular player in the segment later on. But give me more of your thoughts about this press conference, though, Mike.
Yeah. So there was a lot of I'm impressed by all of it. I mean, like, you can see what they've done. We'll start off first of all by what they didn't do. They didn't hire another guy, and they went out and said publicly that they went out and interviewed like up to about 40 people, whether that's bringing them in, phone calls, Zoom calls, all the rest of it. They ended up interviewing over 40 different people for the role. So that is interesting. But Schottenheimer made a comment that he was like, this guy, he came in with a calm demeanor. He's got a solid plan, and just everything during the interview impressed him. Now, the fact that Schottenheimer saying that, again, is another tick in the box. This is a Schottenheimer hire. So that I like. When it came to talking about things, I know me and you've mentioned this quite a bit, that it's the 3-4 defense. He has said that's going
to be the base.
Yeah, that's the base. But he talked about that he likes to use multiple formations.
Like 4-2-5, yes.
Yeah. He spoke quite a lot, actually, on the nickel defense. So he did say about that, and it was all about like spacing, and that, basically one size doesn't fit all on his defense, which I really, really like. Repeatedly, you heard from him emphasizing what the staff's role was going to be, the coaching side, all about teaching, putting players in positions that's
repetition.
Best and fit.
That was the key word for me, mate, was repetition.
Yeah.
Drills. Like making sure you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. And he mentioned as well about what the foundations of what his defense was going to be, where it's about winning early downs, stopping the run, pressure on the quarterback, which all is really tied into the front. So all about the trenches is really where he's focusing on, and I do like that. He even said the words, that the game's won up front.
Absolutely.
We can agree. Yeah, I mean, definitely is. Those interior guys that we spoke about, the unsung heroes of any defense. If you want to talk about the secondary, because everyone talks about the fact that Parker's a defensive backs coach. He was for the Eagles. Talked about how important the secondary is going to play, where its traits, techniques, press ability seems to be a big factor for him. We spoke about Christian Parker and how important he's going to be to Shavon Revel.
Yes, absolutely.
I wrote an entire piece on it that went quite into a bit of detail. He brought up Shavon Revel specifically during this, so that's nice. Talked about that he evaluated him heavily during the draft process while he was over in Philadelphia. Described him as this great press, press eraser, if you like, type. Said, health, development, all matters with him. This is huge because we all want Revel to succeed, and I think Parker's the best guy for it.
Absolutely. Like, I've been raving about Revel even when he was back at college. And you know me, Mike, I'm not really one particular to kind of look into cornerbacks. Like defensive line and offensive line is my creme de la creme, essentially. But the fact that Revel back in college from a smaller school, like playing in the American Conference, really caught my attention. I was like, oh, I would love to have this guy in my football team. It's just unfortunate he had those injuries. But when you've got like a coach coming in who has predominantly been like a passing game defensive coordinator or passing game defensive back coach, whatever that may be, but he's coming into Dallas, Christian Parker's coming to Dallas, he specifically talked about the process of like when he evaluated Revel. So he's very familiar with Revel, even though he's never worked with him. So this is great for him. This is going to be great for his development.
Yeah. And you know, you got to think. I know he keyed specifically on Shavon Revel, and he really is prime. But you got to think, guys, you know, Kalen Carson, Deron Bland. These are guys who are all going to benefit from this. I know he's keyed in on that, but I think the keying in on Shavon Revel is more because he's the rookie. And they went out and really kind of not drafted him early. That's probably the wrong word, but like because of the injury, a lot of people are like, "Oh, we've picked up another injury guy." You know, the pessimistic people. The optimistic people are like, well, you want to go see what he did in East Carolina. That guy was on fire. So I like that. He spoke as well, and I mean, you've spoken about this, about teaching philosophy, that he wants to be a teacher. He wants to be able to communicate well with the defense. Real clarity of defensive language. Basically, the big thing I liked is he said, look, you've got to build confidence through learning, those learning moments. You don't just yell at your players and hope that it sticks. He's like, you've got to take that, you've got to come back to it, and you've got to get them to learn. By yelling, it doesn't do anything. And I do like that. It's basically what he's saying is learn by experience. And that is definitely his type. You can see that it is. And it must be working because look at what the guys were like, the defensive backs in Philadelphia. I mean, it's a style that obviously works.
Well, not just the defensive backs, but just the whole secondary in general. Like, we talked about potentially there is a potential Eagle who's currently a free agent might actually be moving on. Like Blankenship is an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
And look how he's played for the Eagles. Like as much as I hate to say that, but he has been playing very well.
I'm just laughing because we got trolled this week by an Eagles fan on that one.
I wouldn't say get trolled.
Oh, I went to it.
Not on the Twitter, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Well, I didn't see the comments, so...
No, yeah, you wouldn't. He was going back and forth, and I just shooting him down.
No. Well, it wasn't on the World's team account, I can assure you.
No, it was not. I wouldn't do that. I'd do it on my own. Yeah.
But yes. But it's very interesting to see how this is going to plan out. But kind of in relation to the 3-4 defense, Logan Wilson, the linebacker that we traded for a 7th-round draft pick, has been released today.
Yes.
And basically we end up saving $6.523 million on the cap for this year. Just over $6.5 million.
Yeah, I mean, like, these are the sort of moves that you're going to start seeing, and it does make total sense, especially with the fact that we got him halfway through the season, and we were all going, oh, thank goodness, because we spent pretty much most of the season struggling to watch Kenneth Murray chase people down from behind. Foot speed, big issue. But we didn't really see much of him. You know, I mean, Cincinnati were happy to move on from him, right? They were talking about issues over there. Was it with training, perhaps? They were having problems. I'm trying to remember.
I think we're maybe reading behind the lines too much in this one. Me personally, I think it was more the fact that Jerry wanted to get more bodies in. and Eberflus is too. Like, I'm gonna say it. I think Eberflus was too stubborn to change. Like, but
It could have
anybody can
been a
make.
part of that. You're probably right. I mean, behind closed doors, we don't know, but you're probably right.
I mean, that's my general opinion. Like,
Mm,
Eberflus was that determined to try and make it work with the guys that he had and not have any outside interference in that way.
it was annoying that we kept seeing Murray playing over and over again.
It was. But the point I was trying to make, though, like with
I know.
Logan Wilson being released
Mm.
and with likes of what Christian Parker has been saying, going to a 3-4 defense, this now puts linebacker right up the top in terms of need for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. When you think, what are you playing with right now? Got guys who can actually play. I mean, we've got DeMarvion Overshown, right? Often
Well,
injured.
there's a question mark with Overshown because of his injury history.
Yeah. So you got injury history there. Maurice Leopold
Hey.
plays every play at 99 miles an hour. Sometimes you're just like, you just need to slow down. You're okay. Read your landmarks,
Well,
and
it
you'll be
doesn't.
all right.
Well, that's unfair on Leafoot. Like, well, not unfair, but he hasn't been on the field 99% of all the time. Like,
No, no,
he's
no.
on.
I'm saying when he's on the
Oh,
field, he
when he's on
plays.
the field, right?
When
Got you.
he's on the field, he plays every play at
Yeah.
99 miles an hour. You just want him to slow down sometimes and just
I
like,
read the room essentially.
yeah, you don't need to sprint everywhere. It's kind of a little roverish, but whatever.
Right.
And then you got Shamar James, who started the season off poorly, then didn't start off poorly, looked okay. Then the tackling issues came in. They moved him over to special teams, spent a large portion of the season working on his craft, came back on, and they kind of slotted him back into the defense. Looked much better. Not saying he's a guy who you can rely on every down. I'm just saying there was a improvement, which gives you confidence.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't expecting Shamar James to rock the world essentially, but bear in mind, like, what was he, a 5th-round draft pick?
Yes.
So I mean, you had to have very low expectations for likes of Shamar James. He as a player in development, there is going to be gaps in his game where he needs to work on. We saw that last year. So
Yeah. I
but
mean, all I was making the point on is that, with Shamar James, he's not the guy where you're like, we don't need to draft a linebacker because we're sure Shamar. All I'm saying is that it looked improved, much better, to put it that way. I mean, you go through the rest of the chart and you kind of go, all right. I mean, there's Justin Barron there, but still, you're just like, and like that even for a 3-4 defense, you
it's not
have,
enough.
yeah,
It's
you
not
don't
enough
have, you don't even have enough players right now
for
to play.
rotation.
Yeah, not even to put a starting lineup out. We've got really 3 linebackers, one who's got injury problems, one who plays too fast, and another one who's still in development. So you're
Yep.
like, linebacker, big problem. You get rid of Logan Wilson, it's another body gone. So linebacker, I mean, like you know yourself. I mean, on a 4-3 defense, you want 5-6 linebackers in a 3-4. And remember that Parker also has made the comment that he wants it to be a multi-defense. So not only do you need a plethora of linebackers, you need a good selection of linebackers to play different roles depending on what formation you want to play in. So
Yes.
it just raises the bar again, really.
Yeah, like for example, a linebacker could be the outside linebacker, play like your Von Miller based style, like even Micah Parsons, like be that hybrid essentially,
Mm.
like playing as the outside linebacker, move into the defensive end role.
Well, I mean, who on a 4-3 defense, a 3-4 defense right now? Who are your 2 inside linebackers? More specifically, who's playing the thumper?
No one.
Don't have one. There's
No one.
nobody to play that thumper role. The irony here is a guy who fits perfectly for us would have been Leighton Van Der Esch.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're missing a Leighton Van Der Esch.
It just literally light bulb just came to my head. I'm scratching my head now. My goodness. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That makes a hell of a lot of sense. But in relation to Logan Wilson, like I kind of mentioned there, we did save 6.5 million on the cap,
nice.
Which is great.
That's Brandon Aubrey.
Yep, that's Brandon Aubrey pretty much sorted in a way. Yeah. But there is still a lot of wiggle room that we need to improve on. And currently, as of just now, before Logan Wilson was released, we're 33.5 million on the over the cap, I believe. Let me just
We're
verify
quite
that.
far down the pecking order.
No, sorry, $31.5 million over the cap right now.
Yeah.
And we're basically yes, we are. So, but the question is though, what other players, and for you people at home, let us know what your thoughts are, and in terms of who you think should be released in terms of saving money for the Cowboys. We're very interested to hear your thoughts on it. But for us right now, I mean, I think we should go with the big one right now.
Go on, hit me with it. We know where we're going here.
Kenny Clark. As much as I hate to say it, I thought he was played very well for the Cowboys last year, especially in the interior as the free tech, essentially.
Yeah.
Playing alongside Quinnen Williams at the later part of the season.
Yeah.
But $21.5 million we would save if we were to release him.
And the dead cap, Paul,
is
on Kenny
none.
Clark?
Zero. Mero.
And
I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know why I did a WWE chant there.
It works. It works. It works. I was loving it. I was enjoying every minute of it, Paul. But yeah, I mean, you say that Kenny Clark. I mean, let's go through some things. Last season, brilliant. From the moment he came in through the trade, you were just like, okay, good. We finally got somebody who can stall the A gap. Beautiful. Done it consistently as well. Add a few things into it. Age, okay.
He's 31 right now.
Yeah.
This is where I might disagree with you. Like, I don't agree with the whole age factor when it comes to defensive tackles. I really don't.
I'm just adding the list of things of why you want to. The age. We just traded for Quinnen Williams. He's an absolute beast. You can still keep Solomon Thomas if you want to. He's cheap. You can put him into rotation. You got Jay Tyre. I kind of like, but you're hoping a season of development, off-season training camp. Let's see what happens there. He's another body, but you still got Osa there, and I think Osa and Quinnen are quite a little good combo because they both do two different entirely things very well. So you put them side by side. Bearing in mind, Paul, if we do go to a 3-4 defense, you kind of think to yourself, all right, we need some more two-part, guys who can play in the two stance as opposed to their hand in the dirt. I know, obviously, there's going to be this multi-defense role that, scheme that Parker's going for. So you still need the bodies to go in there. Mm-hmm. And you still need some rotation to give these guys a breather. But it kind of like, you think, well, do you really need Kenny Clark?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When you look at the Eagles under Fangio and Lexa Parker as the defensive backs coach, like, they had their the two big monstrous defensive tackles, and for early parts of the couple of years ago they had Hassan Riddick.
Yeah.
Like, but Riddick's not really known to be that speedster defensive lineman. Like, he can get to the quarterback no problem, yeah, but
technically sound.
But how many times have we seen Riddick in a 3-point stance? Very rarely.
Exactly.
Very rarely. So that's something to kind of keep an eye out on. All right. Okay, but for me,
it's the money. It's the 21 mil.
And that could really free up so much. A lot. Like, bring back Williams, bring back XYZ. Maybe not so much George Pickens, but it can help. But the next one on the list, is Jonathan Mingo.
Ooh. And you see the trouble with this one is it's a 4th round pick gone to waste, just as we've seen with the last guy that we did it with, which is just going to infuriate Cowboys fans more by going, oh, we're just going to release him.
Yep. So currently, right now, Jonathan Mingo is on 1.95 million on the cap right now. And if we were to release him as of today, it would cost us absolutely nothing.
2 mil saved.
Just under 2 million saved again.
There's Jadeveon Clowney.
There's Clowney. Like, we're making moves. We're kind of progressing a little bit here, mate. We're trying to think what, like, we're trying to be like Steven and Jerry in the cat room or in the war room, trying to figure out our finances essentially. But
yeah,
but it's at this point you just have to ask yourself, right? We're 33 million over the cap. We need to do something here. Yeah, we can. Like, this is without negotiating contracts. Like that's a harder thing to kind of figure out because we just don't know what the base or sorry, I hurt my microphone there.
Yeah, you're doing it too.
Like, how much would you put that as guaranteed? Like, shift that over as bonuses, etc. Like that's a whole different spectrum. But as of the squad right now, how could you save money by releasing certain players? That's where we're looking at right now. But Mingo would unfortunately be a casualty because he did have some upside in training camp. Unfortunately, he picked up the injury in training camp and just never managed to get back into the fold, despite me and your shock horror that Jalen Tolbert still managed to get ahead.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
I know. I'm not going to go that far. Trust me. I'm not. All right. Here's another big one, right? And this will, in fact, have a cap hit, but the savings are greater on this one. Malik Hooker. Now, bear in mind, Malik Hooker is also at that type of age now. Let me just check. He is 30 years old. He's currently on 8.9 million on the cap.
So practically 9 million he is.
Pretty much. Well, 8.92. So I would say more closer to 8.9. But either way, if we were to cut ties with Malik Hooker right now, it would be a $2 million cap hit. So you would essentially be saving 6.9 million overall on the salary cap. So you're still saving, even though you're taking a cap hit.
Yeah.
And this is the big question. Like, we've been like, our good friend Zach Walchuk has been speaking volumes and volumes about a certain player in this year's draft, which is Mr. Caleb Downs, who plays safety.
Yeah. I mean, if you get rid of Hooker, then we're talking about linebacker being a place where we need to solidify because of bodies. Safety becomes the next thing.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, like, and I don't know about you, I think when you look at the current free agents right now, I would say it's probably a much easier to stock up on in terms of the defensive line than like a linebacker and safety right now. Cornerbacks, you could probably get one or two guys that could fill the void. But I think safety and linebacker is the hardest ones to get in this free agency. Like, I'm not trying to be Mystic Mac or Mystic Meg or try to predict things like, but I'm just getting like looking at the top 100 free agents, etc. There's nothing really there. I kind of think they would bring more to the table and help improve this squad. Where you look at the defensive line guys, even though some of them might be aging a little bit, but they can still add a bit of value. Like, I think there is potentially that, but looking at like how much we could actually save, and now the priority is like, okay, we do need to draft a safety, we do need to draft a linebacker, and ironically, like, there's two players that we've been talking about quite a lot, and that's Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, both from Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a position where you can't take Caleb Downs because he's gone before you get to pick 12, then I mean, the way to go is go linebacker at 12. When you wheel back round to 20, you still got two safeties, I would imagine, will still be on a board. If not, he's going to have Oregon's Dylan Feynman on there, who I think is to take him in the first round. People will be like, "Oh, that's a reach." I don't actually think so.
Well, everyone said that about Travis Frederick, and look how that happened.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Martin, people called him a reach because he's a guard taken in the first round. But
Yep.
I think Feynman, he comes with question marks in terms of like how do you utilize him? Parker, being defensive back coach, falls perfectly in this, but you take him in the first round. I would be totally fine with it because the guy is solid at safety. So I do think in terms of that in both positions, if we do as we've said, I mean, linebacker we're already there. If they do release Malik Hooker to save the cap savings, then linebacker and safety are places that you have to go to both free agency and the draft.
Yeah. And I mean, just looking at, I'm just looking at the list again. Like we just mentioned Kenny Clark, Logan Wilson, Malik Hooker.
Yeah,
all these guys are about are 30 and over.
And you think as well with Malik Hooker, the injury history.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this would be the time where, unfortunately, might be the chance to cut ties with him. But there is two more players I do want to kind of talk about briefly. Obviously, the tight end Luke Schoonmaker, who currently right now, I'll get his information right now.
Just over $1 million on the cap. 1.8 maybe, if I remember rightly. I think it was something like that. And he's about 750 on the dead cap.
No, he's 1.9 on the. He's 1. Almost 2 million. He's 1.993 million.
Call it 2.
Yeah, so 12.2, and in terms of if we were to release him, the dead cap would be 389,000.
Kind of seems like a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
So you'd be saving roughly about 1.5 million.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's 28.
I mean, you do the release, and it saves you the cap savings, but you don't feel so bad about it. Mostly not because of that you need to save cap, but because Brevin Spanford was really coming into his own. And now
I'm telling you, he's on the rise. He's on the rise, man.
Now you put him behind Jake Ferguson, he becomes your tight end too. You feel very, very comfortable at tight end with those two.
Oh, absolutely. And our good friend Jata from CFO Sports has been screaming for Spanford for God knows how long. And we completely agree with that. Like, give Spanford more opportunity. And we saw the glimpses of what he can do, not just in terms of being that tight end right on the edge of the offensive line, helping with the blocks, but in terms of his passing game as well. Like, he's making some great catches out there, like keeping the offense afloat,
Yeah. And sometimes it's a good example here that sometimes you keep players for too long, they become development blockers. So, like a guy like Schoonmaker, you keep around because you spent that second round pick on him. So you're trying to get your draft capital out of him. But what it's doing is hindering players behind you that are coming up and taking over you. So, I mean, there's that that kind of causes issues on your roster sometimes. So, by cutting Schoonmaker, there's the cap savings, Bremen Swab4 coming along, and everybody else gets to develop.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one over to you because you're probably might be better explaining this one. So the last player we want to talk about before we kind of finish up is Terence Steele. This is a really complex one.
Yeah.
This is very complex. Like, as Cowboys Nations kind of feel like our weakest link right now is at right tackle, as of right now. Like, and don't get me wrong, Steele has had some good moments, but he's had some plenty of bad moments this year. But hit me with it, Mike. What is the deal with Terence Steele?
I mean, so basically, you've got him for the next 3 seasons, but he's cost you an average of about $20 million per year on the cap. And I think for what Terence Steele provides, as you say, he's not a bad player, but he's just a player who literally plays two halves. The run blocking, phenomenal. Probably you would say he's a top 10 right tackle in the league when it comes to run block.
Yeah.
But the pass blocking is where it lies. There is
pass,
issues there.
Pass protection.
Yeah. So his pass pro has many flaws to it. Along with that, tied in with the issues that he has when it comes to blocking, he also has a lot of flags. And if you remember the amount of drives that got killed because a flag comes up, lo and behold, Terence Steele was holding. So now we've got to go backwards and erased so many big plays. So I'm on the fence on what you do here because in one half, you're kind of like, do you really want to create another roster hole here? Because now right tackle becomes a question. You go, maybe we need to get a new right tackle now. Going to have to mess around with our offensive line. And the offensive line last year was met with a lot of injuries. One thing that goes in Terence Steele's favor is his durability. He's always on the field. He's one of the few players last year that played every game. So there is that side that's a bonus, and your best ability is your availability, as they say.
Yeah.
But his dead cap this year would be 9 mil. The following year goes down to 5. The last year is 1. So it's a toss up here of really how do you want to play this? Do you want to try and make some savings this year? You will make some, but you're going to have to fill it back up with somebody anyway. But it's beyond this season that you really play in this card, or do you hang on to Steele for one more year, then think about it?
The way I'm kind of seeing it right now is likely you would make the biggest saving in his final year.
Yes, in the final year is the biggest.
Yeah, you're basically saving $17 million if that was the case.
How would you? I'll put it to you this way, Paul. Would you like to make those savings as early as possible, say this year? But then that means if you don't figure out right tackle and refit whatever's going on there, that means Nate Thomas is probably going to be over there. Or do you cut him? Do you cut the tie, right? Push Tyler Guyton over to the right. You put Terence Steele at left tackle. Now you got to figure out guard.
I'm going to say no. And I'll tell you why. You need to think about the other contracts that are in hand. The reason I'm saying that is like, okay, what about the cap hit in terms of how other players like Dak, for example, like CD Lamb's going to take effect. Like, so I wouldn't cut Terence Steele now because that would actually play effect in the years later. That's why I'm saying so.
It's just such a finicky one. It
is a finicky one.
So it's complicated. It is. It's not as clear as what people think. Go on. Sorry, mate.
So while I have my reservations about Terence Steele, but it makes more sense to keep him, and it makes more sense to keep him on this roster because of that. Because if you were to cut him now, it would actually make things a lot more difficult in the long run in terms of restructuring contracts for other ones to get the cap down for further years down the line. That's my main reason behind it.
All right. Yeah, there we go.
But let us know in the comments, folks, what you guys think.
One for them. That one is for them. For all the MVPs, the Terence Steele one.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, folks. What are your thoughts about Terence Steele? Should the Cowboys cut him now or wait to the end of his contract and save $17 million? What do you think? Anyway, but to finish off this episode, we are going to just quickly highlight the Combine is almost upon us, Mike. Finally, we get to see some of these kids we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, like my guy, Jacob Rodriguez. We get to see Caleb Downs. We get to see some awesome defensive lineman players like Bain and David Bailey from Texas Tech also. I mean, primarily, I'm going to be mostly looking at the defense. Primarily. I think it makes sense because that is basically our biggest need right now.
Don't take your eye off running back or wide receiver on the offense, though.
Running back, I'll say this, Mike. So currently, just now, we've got Malik Davis, Jaden Blue, Israel Akambabanka, or I can't remember how you pronounce his name, and then you've got Phil Maffer. So we've got 4 running backs currently on the roster, with Maffer being just under $1 million. Israel is on 1 million, Jaden Blue is on 1.1 million, Malik Davis is on 1.14. But the question is, like, one of those guys have got to go if we don't bring up back Williams, or because I'm looking in terms of they're
like the thing is, here's the thing, regardless of cap, none of those guys excite you at running back for an entire season. They don't. As your primary back.
Phil Maffer, come on.
I like what he did in the last game, but are we saying that we're okay with him starting week 1, snap 1, and going for a full 17, 18 weeks?
What I'm saying is, would you be surprised we didn't do anything at running back?
I think they will. They have to.
I don't think we will.
All those running backs we've got there are support running backs.
That's the debate question for the chat. There you go. It's like, do we draft a running back or do we not? Or do we bring back
Javonte Williams?
Yeah. Does the Cowboys need to do this? Or can we survive? Or will the Cowboys, based on what they've done previously before, will they do it? Will they stock up at running back? There you go. But going back to the combine, it's very exciting stuff to see what's going to be happening ahead. Get to see all these players. I know you're excited, Mike.
It's my Christmas.
He's been waiting all year for this. It's only been like the 21st of February.
I know, counting it down. As soon as it's funny, like it's because you know what I'm like with my draft board. My draft board's half done by Christmas time, but come the new year, all I'm doing is I'm just moving the peg along to the big red circle that says NFL Scouting Combine.
Abanikanda, that's how you pronounce his name.
There you go. There you go.
Sorry, Israel. It's a tongue twister for me with my accent. I do apologize. But yes, well, folks, we will be back. We will be talking about the highlights of the combine, any players that did stand out to us, and we would love to hear your thoughts and opinions also on the combine when it comes for our next episode. But like as always, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the World's Team, follow us on all of our social media platforms. But before we do go, Mike, please tell everyone where everyone can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter or X at Kenfig Cowboy. That's Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K, and you, Mr. P.
You can find me at IMP on X and Instagram. All right, folks, that's the end of this episode. We will see you guys next time. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the combine where it comes along. And as always here at the World's Team, it's not just America's team. It is the World's Team. We'll see you guys next time.
That's a wrap on the World's Team Podcast. Smash that like button and hit subscribe, Cowboys Nation. This ain't just America's team, it's your team. Touchdown! It's the World's Team, only on Believe, where real fans live.
How about them Cowboys?